how do you earn some interest on this $10,000? Because according to the article, the average savings account in America is paying around 0.46% a year in interest, which means if you save $10,000 into one of these bank accounts paying 0.46%, after 12 months, your $10,000 would grow to $10,046, which really isn't that much interest. However, at the time of me recording this video, you have a lot of high yield savings accounts that are paying much closer to around that 5% a year in interest. Now, this is where numbers start to look a little bit different, because now after 1 year, your $10,000 would grow to $10,500. But I have a little bit of bad news, because we all know that the Federal Reserve Bank is talking about cutting interest rates soon. And if the Federal Reserve Bank starts cutting interest rates, well, the interest rate that you get on these high yield savings accounts, even your regular savings account, are going to get slashed depending on how aggressively and how often the Federal Reserve Bank starts cutting interest rates. So if you're wondering if there are ways for you to continue earning some interest on your savings, you do have a few options. Number one, well, if you have a high yield savings account, understand that it's not going to go from 5% down to 0.46%. If the Federal Reserve Bank cuts interest rates only 1 or 2 or 3 times. Yes, it will probably drop from the 5%, but it'll still be higher than the average bank account. Number two is if you really want to earn this type of interest from a bank, you can also potentially consider locking in a CD, a certificate of deposit, at a bank before the Federal Reserve Bank starts cutting interest rates, because that's a way for you to lock in a potential interest rate return. So if you see a bank offering a 5.25 or 5.5% CD, you can lock that in for 12 months or 18 months or 24 months and get that guaranteed interest even if the Federal Reserve Bank starts cutting interest rates. Just understand that with a CD, you do have the risk because you can't pull your money out without a penalty. So I'm not a huge fan of CDs, but if that's something that you're interested in, just understand that that is an option for you as well. This brings us to the second thing that you can consider doing, which is paying off some of your high interest debts. If you have credit card debt, those payday loans or those buy now, pay later loans that you didn't pay off in time, I would definitely take some of that $10,000 for myself and pay off those high interest debts as fast as possible. I would want to have at least $2,000 in savings to protect me against an emergency to start with. But if I have that extra cash, I want to attack these high interest debts because take a look at this. The average credit card debt in America is $8,674. If you subscribe to Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, you might have heard about this, and this is a lot of money. And the average APR on that credit card debt is 24.92%. What that means is while most people are trying to grow their money by 8 or 9 or 10% a year in the stock market or in the real estate market, your credit card company is growing their money by almost 25% a year because they're lending you this money through that credit card. And you're the one that's paying all of that interest, all of those fees, all those profits. You're the one that's paying for those private jet trips for the credit card company when you're paying this interest. But just to have some fun, let's take a look at how expensive this debt and this APR really is. If you took $8,674 today and you invested it somewhere where you could get a guaranteed 24.92% return and you never invested another penny, because this is what your credit card company is doing, after 10 years, you would have just over $80,000 and you never invested more than this initial investment. If you just let the money sit there and compound and grow at the 24.92% in 20 years, you would have over $740,000 in your investment account. If you just let the money sit and compound for another 10 years, now you would have over $6.8 million in your investment account. And just for fun's sake, if you let this money sit there and compound for another 10 years, you would have more than $63 million in your account because you could grow the $8,000 by almost 25% a year. And remember, this is assuming that you never invested another penny again. This is the money that is making our credit card company rich, because the reality is more than half of Americans are carrying a credit card balance month after month, which means more than half of Americans with a credit card are paying this money to the credit card company, and that's what's making them rich while you stay poor. This is why if you have some extra cash, you can use that to pay this down. That way you can get out of this high interest debt as fast as possible. And for those of you that want to stay up to date on what's happening in the financial markets when it's happening, Market Briefs is a free financial newsletter that I created where every day my team is working to break down what's happening in the economy, the stock market, the crypto market, the real estate market, and the global economy into a fun, witty, and easy to read newsletter. You can read it in less than 5 minutes every morning, and it's completely free. And I promise you, you are going to love reading Market Briefs. Now you might might say, well, Jaspreet, how can you promise that? Well, if you don't love it, you can unsubscribe at any time because it's completely free. So if you have not joined Market Briefs yet, I got the link for you to join down in the description below. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.